Also, we're going for Puffcap lethal here, as always. I'm so getting punished for this. Just gotta believe, guys. Gotta believe, and you will achieve.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
What's up, YouTube? We're back with another trap deck today, but this time it's not going to be focused on Teemo, but rather use Caitlyn and Ezreal as the finishers, as well as Tri-Beam as a huge tempo swing tool. Now, the idea behind this deck is that it plays very much like a slow burn deck, so we see all of the cards are rather cheap. We play a lot of 3-cost stuff, of course, for Tri-Beam Improbulator to grow, and it's very easy for us to shuffle a lot of Puffcaps into our opponent's deck without really investing too many additional resources, right? Poison Dart is already an okay card on its own and shuffles Puffcaps. Peddler has a decent stat line and can take some block while also passively shuffling Puffcaps. Lecturing Yordle, of course, also generating removal that also shuffles Puffcaps. And while the Puffcaps also contribute to directly burning our opponent's Nexus, they of course also start leveling up Caitlyn, and especially later on in the game, we can often get additional burn damage through to the opponent's Nexus from her strike effect in the leveled form. If that should not be enough to finish our opponent though, we of course play a lot of pings, a lot of 1 damage spells, and that means it's very easy to stack up Ezreal and level him in this deck as well. And due to the access to a lot of cheap spells that also get generated by Conchologist, by Otterpus, Lecturing Yordle and so on, we can usually get a lot of value out of this level 2 Ezreal passive, burning our opponent's Nexus down slowly. So let's go through the cards in this list real quick. First of all, the units we play: 2 Otterpus, just as a 1-drop without really losing mana, without losing tempo, but the generated card can also be very useful in 2 scenarios, mostly as discard fodder for some Dredger, which we're lacking a tiny bit, as well as spell generation for when Ezreal is leveled. The prank will also deal an additional 1 burn damage to our opponent's Nexus. Conchologist, I think, doesn't need much of an explanation, just very well-rounded and being able to find what we currently need. Of course, this deck is also very spell-based, so great card in this deck. And then the bread and butter are, of course, all of these 3-drops. Caitlyn in the early game, mostly there for some pressure. She's very annoying to block in the early game, especially if we bank spell mana early on and back up our attack with Mystic Shots and Pokey Sticks. And the nice thing about Caitlyn, like I mentioned, is she's also valuable in the late game since she does level up in the deck. Kind of the same can be said for Ezreal, but we usually do want to find him in the late game in his leveled form. Puffcap Peddler is a unit we often want early on, especially against control decks or against combo decks that draw a lot, just to passively shuffle in those Puffcaps. Some Dredger, mainly for the stat line, but also for the utility. Don't forget that since a while you can also play these units without discarding a card and drawing one. You can just click the summon button that appears where the pass button usually is. And that makes the card insanely good in this deck. It's very relevant because it's a 3-mana Poppy blocker. It trades into Poppy very effectively, but it also does a lot of stuff for us in all other matchups because of the utility it provides. Now, Lecturing Yordle, also arguably a champion in this deck. Stat line is great, pressure is great that it generates, and the Poison Darts are just key for this whole deck. And now the spells is where it gets interesting. We play a lot of the PNZ removal package, just because it's so synergistic with Ezreal, and also because we do usually play reactively in the very early game. We do try to outgrind a lot of aggressive decks and try to halt their tempo by removing their key cards. So Thermo Beam, Mystic Shot as a removal tool, Pokey Stick as a removal tool, Poison Dart. Some Fumes, really good in this deck. We have a lot of ways of drawing or generating cards and activating the 3rd point of damage. Stress Defense and Minimorph, also mostly defensive tools, but half utility, can also be used offensively. And of course, the same can be said for Tri-Beam Improbulator. The lovely part about this whole deck is that all of the spells can be used both offensively as well as defensively. So we do need to be very aware of the matchup that we're currently playing, of the deck that we're running against, and always need to realize if we want to be the aggressor or be the defender and react to our opponent's threats and outgrind them later on. We do play a fair amount of draw since our deck is generally rather cheap, and we do want to look for our champions as the finishers. We have the pathways, we have the optional draw on the Sump Dredger, as well as Pokey Sticks. And of course, quite a fair bit of the removal can also be used as burn to our opponent's face, Mystic Shots, Pokey Sticks, Poison Darts. Just a lot of flexibility in this list, and that's what makes it super duper fun to play. You have a lot of agency in where, like, which direction each game should go. Big shout out goes out to MajiinBae, a fellow YouTuber, super entertaining and great player. I found the deck idea on his channel about a week or so ago, and it's definitely a good one. And to give you some inspiration, here are a bunch of gameplay examples. Feels very, yeah, very hostile in a way. Okay, so we want to keep removal for Veigar and for Twisted Catalyzer. Mystic, yeah, perfect, thank you. Apart from that, Tri-Beam, Caitlyn. What lineups will I be bringing to the seasonal tomorrow? I want to bring Turbo Thralls 3 times and roll freaking Obelisk of Power when I need it. Seems fine to me. I don't think I like playing Ezreal. And anything else is nonsensical. Sump Dredger without drawing. Sump Dredger without drawing. That's actually fine. I could toss Stress Defense from my hand. That's actually not too bad. This looks better. Okay, didn't have a play on turn 4. I can probably greed develop Caitlyn.
Well, what have we here?
You can do that? Yes, you can do that. Man, that reaction is never stopping, is it? Wait, what? Holy smokes! You can do that? Like, I first memed about it in a video probably about a month ago. And people were still having that reaction every time you do that play. Feels like she's worth keeping alive, to be honest. Is there anything I'm scared of? I don't really care about Ishtali. Veigar, I suppose. This is awkward. I want to keep format. Yeah, I can just pass though. And now we can let the funsies begin. The summon button also works with other stuff, by the way. For example, Desert Naturalist. If your Bandle tree finds you a freaking Desert Naturalist, you can actually not destroy your own Bandle tree, but still play the card. What else? Oblivious Islander. You don't have to give something in your hand ephemeral.
There's a lot of darkness out there. Let's make some of our own.
Calamitas, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good scrimming session if I saw that earlier correctly. Bring it on, Senna.
Don't have any warning shots.
Wait, you're actually blocking with Senna? What a madman. Stress defense? Mist-Skull? What? I think I might want to keep this to activate Fumes next round. Maybe a new player? I don't know about a new player being in Masters rank. Yo, Maverick, what's poppin'? It's been a while. A teeny tiny tad. I'd play triple sub dredger. I actually don't hate stress testing. This is garbage. This is... Yeah, this is garbage, let's be real. Let's go for a speculative stress testing. It feels like my opponent has spent all game trying to set up a whale. Oh, it's go hard. Interesting. So Vault Breaker is kind of hot with Tri-Beam. Counterfeits Ezreal, maybe? Isn't Counterfeit Ezreal good? Or am I tripping? Trixie can remove darkness from hand? Yeah, Trixie isn't good enough.
What wondrous discoveries await below.
Huh. Guess I'm the big guns now.
Guess you are the big guns.
That's it.
Okay. Open attack for the darts. No point in playing this. Yeah, that looks good. Stress testing to remove Ephemeral off of the dart. Obviously the play here. Counterfeit Peddler? No, that's trolling. Peddler is darkness bait. It's working!
There they go.
Try Ezreal and Nami Tri-Beam? I'm quite content with...
There's a lot of darkness out there. Let's
Is that the third Senna? It is. Double Mystic shots just to level Ezreal seems worse. Fumes Thermal Beam to level Ezreal is actually interesting. I think I like forcing the level up here. The upside is, so basically otherwise my Ezreal is at 5 out of 6 and my opponent could just try to ping their own spider with Vile Feast, with Pokey Sticks, deny me the last trigger. Of course they can't do that infinitely. At some point I'll just build a board and still swing in and they have to play something. Or of course, my trap would have done the deed for me.
Me miss? Not by a long shot. Give me your malice, creatures of doom!
Okay, I think I can play Ezreal into a Mystic Shot, even though that means my opponent could technically... develop Veigar. But then we both have win conditions on board, and my win condition is more imminent than my opponent's.
Persistence is key.
Your darkness is gonna stay at 2 for a while, dear friend. I might have said that too early. They still have Veigar mana. But even if they do, I mean, this open attack is glorious.
Veigar, I wasn't sure you'd make it on such short notice.
Oh, the burn! I didn't know this voice line was a thing.
Closing in on the mark. No backup needed.
And Caitlyn has no chill. Caitlyn just out here taking people's dignity. GG.
I knew we had it all along.
Y'all know that I love Puffcaps. Zilean Ekko. Hey, this should be a good one as long as we just spam removal on Ekko. Do you have 1-drops? Ancient Prep Drop Border? Zaunite. Do you play Zaunite? I don't think you play Zaunite. Doesn't Teemo fit better? Maybe, but I really like Caitlyn in this. She has a fair shot at leveling and also representing burn Nexus damage. Like, we have no tools of protecting Teemo, which is a bit annoying. Have I prepared the lineup for season? No. Wait, didn't I have a command for that? In the lineup? There we go. Why not make lineup the command? Yeah, I could make lineup the command. I still have something old. What was it? Beyond the Bandlewood invitation, eh? Too lazy to change it. I'm not 100% sure about this attack, to be honest. I could give my opponent more bombs, right? They have a second Zilean. Am I going to be playing? Probably. I think I secured a 7-2 tiebreaker slot, and although I didn't originally intend to do it, I probably just do a hungover stream tomorrow, play the season and see what happens. Alan said he'd think you'd break deep. What? Was there an explanation for it? Or is it just because I posted a video about deep? Someone asked about deep and he said maybe 2 people will break it, one of the PQ. I know who the other one is. The guy who I got deep from. No, I honestly don't think it's the worst bring at all. But I most likely won't bring it. Time trick isn't bad. Mystic Shot or skip. Conchologist would be nice for the longer game. Fumes is better for Ekko since he's leveling fairly soon. Tribeam was what I was looking for. Tribeam or another peddler. Now, Deep makes sense in a lineup that bans Zed and expects a lot of plunder and control-oriented decks. But I think it might be a bit foolish to expect too many control-oriented decks in the open rounds. I think it's more of a hot take, good bring for the top cut. Spooky Karma. Yeah, I don't know about Spooky Karma neither. Although generally, of course, open rounds reward high-skill agency decks. So you always ban Poppy Zed and hope that no one brings another rally deck besides it. I could see it. That sucks. Can iterative be good? I don't really like time trick here. It's too expensive and inefficient, but iterating my opponent's unit especially gives me a trigger as well. I think I like it. Something like a Xenotype, maybe? deep good into Plunder. I mean, there aren't really stats on the current meta around. From what I heard, it's supposed to be good, yeah, but I don't know if that's actually true. Get out of here, Zilean. Ezreal is toast. It's probably just pathways here.
If we can undo what has been done.
We can, Timekeeper. Let me show you.
Kek W hand. Probably just take the Chronomancer. Perfectionist would be a cute card to copy for Tribeam stacks. Pokey? We don't have a target for Pokey, do we? We'll probably have to Tribeam him in case our opponent plays another landmark. Another time bomb. But we also don't want to face this open attack. It's probably Fumes. Although Yordle is pretty good. I mean, I guess we have enough removal for Ekko. As well as Zilean.
We can always rely on you to keep us safe.
Let me help you out with that command there. Okay, I did find the time bomb after all. That's exactly why we needed to keep... Or why we didn't need to waste Pokesticks, rather. Also, we made our opponent override a unit, which is really good for us. I don't think we'll ever manage to trigger this.
If you're into coughing.
Deep breath now.
At this point, we can attack. Both of these trades would be good for us.
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
Will help.
Hey, it worked as removal bait. That's really nice. That's a thermal beam that's not hitting our Yordle or our Ezreal.
Turn it like so. It's not safe.
Double poke, I think. Time to draw some stuff. We can still play Yordle Dart Nexus. We are very fortunate that our opponent has not played a cat nor an Ekko yet. Of course, they did have Zilean spam, but...
I don't want to meet whatever woke you up.
Alright. Still playing for board control. I don't think we need to send that towards the face. Okay, so there's not that much that scares us. I think we're in a very good spot. Is my hair super light on top of my head, or am I balding? Both. It's also, like, the camera makes it look a bit worse than it is. In reality. Like, for example, this cut in the eyebrow isn't really visible anymore in real life. It's just the way the pixelation works. Gives it a lot more contrast.
If we can undo what has
But yeah, when it comes to hair, I've inherited some pretty questionable genetics. Like my dad was semi-bald with like 21 or 22 already. For some reason, my brother, who is older than me, has like perfectly full hair.
Ekko, you were supposed to be here tomorrow.
You said that yesterday. Good one, Zil. High five, yeah.
The ordering was weird. My opponent played Zilean first, predicted, and then shuffled Chrono Breaks into their deck.
Scoping the area.
I want to trade these in before my opponent finds Chrono Breaks.
You again?
Balding comes from the mother side and not dad's. Isn't it like very multifactorial? I have the stash genes, you can't have it all. That's actually true. I guess my brother doesn't quite have the stash genes. I don't want to block with any of these 3 units. Maybe I shouldn't, because that could definitely be a Chrono Break. Like, I don't care about tanking 6. Can maybe poke Zilean mid-combat. Comes from the grandpa mother side. Alright, I've never met him. I actually don't know if he was balding. He died fairly young. No arcane spoilers, please. Does anyone else agree that Caitlyn's voice actress in lore is not nearly as good as the voice actress in Arcane and LoL? I actually freaking love Caitlyn's voice in this game. Huh? Okay. What? Why? I'm confused.
Stop bragging if you can back it up.
What now?
Am I still studying medicine ATM? Yes and no. Like right now I don't do courses. I get back to it in January or February.
Listen to me.
And most of the last courses I have to do are actually time intensive, so I definitely need to cut down on content creation then.
Sure.
Poking Zilean is 2 Nexus damage as well, so there's no reason not to target a unit outside of my opponent being able to Mystic Shot their own unit, I suppose. But like, this looks like it's always going to be lethal. That was a weird game. That fleeting Chrono Break discard was somewhat confusing, while opponent still had the attack token, if I recall correctly. Mono Teemo, what the frickin' hell? Beam. Guess we keep Otter. I don't know what we're playing against.
Slip through my pores! Miss?
Not by a long shot. Catalog. Could definitely be Catalog. Harrowing Teemo would be quite gangster.
Let's get to work.
I'm starting to doubt both Catalog of Regrets and Harrowing. That's into open attack, looks good. Mist Call Teemo. I mean, there are better protective options for Teemo than freaking Mist Call.
Let's investigate. The trap is set.
It is catalog. Interesting. I think we take this opportunity for the 3-mana beam. Get that tri-beam stacked. Peacemaker is also good, but we probably want to replay the second Caitlyn once we get some traps shuffled in. Get that level up.
When tribe calls, a reply is proper. Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves.
We really want to go for some aggressive cap shuffling though. Oh, maybe it is Peacemaker here. It looks so tempting. Sets up an insane open attack. You think we will get more trap variety? I hope so. I also hope it's gonna be less RNG heavy traps than flash bombs. Oh no! I messed up. Flash bombs! We have pretty good flash bombs at this point. Sure. The Fading Memories is gonna be copied.
Next thing I know, I'm up to my britches in purple berries.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
That's true, Shaco traps would be a thing. But Shaco could go a lot of ways design-wise. Yordle and Caitlyn attack for sure. Yeah, that's probably it.
Easy does it. Persistence is key.
At least we also made them waste the Conchologist technically, so Mystic Shot gets copied right now. I mean, it's fine as long as our opponent doesn't get the super early go hard spam. Two Conchologist cards in hand. Probably didn't find go hard in that case.
Flesh was weak, but look at me now.
I mean, Ignitions are really bad for my opponent here, right? With Catalog on the board. What else can you get? Nyandroid or Gearhead? Kinda like just tri-beaming this.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
Oh, right, Ignition is fleeting. True. It doesn't work with Catalog.
Safety disengaged.
This open attack's gonna be lovely though. So our opponent has one Conchologist card. Sorry, and a bunch of unknowns. Okay, Wild Feast is a really good answer. I don't think we're open attacking in this case. So our opponent's 50-50 to find freaking Calc. Change of plans. Wait, isn't this Princess Mononoke, sort of? In a way? Alright, yeah, we're just gonna go for burn finish at this point.
Once I stamp papers, now faces.
Mononoke. I see what you did there. Mononoke doesn't look like this. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I feel like they do have a tiny bit of reminiscence. Similarity here and there. I mean, opponent's deck is really cool though. That's an interesting choice. I don't think my opponent really wants to draw the death rates, but they're at least not trap infested. Concolor just broken tier. Okay. So this card could be a death ray. This cannot be a death ray. Okay, now we know. Full yeet. GG. Not gonna lie, I kinda want my opponent's deck though.